You know, after so many years of gardening, I've learned that nature always has a way of teaching us. Sometimes the easy way, and sometimes the hard way. I still remember bringing home a beautiful plant once, thinking it would brighten up a shady corner. A week later, I noticed my cat acting strange. Turns out that harmless plant was toxic. I felt awful, but that experience changed how I garden forever. Since then, I've made it my mission to learn which plants are safe and which ones are better admired from afar, because our gardens should be places of calm joy and safety, not worry. Welcome to Senior Green Thumb. Over the years, I've seen many gardeners, especially those just starting out or returning to gardening in retirement, unknowingly pick up plants that don't belong in a family or pet-friendly home. It's not their fault. Nurseries rarely include warning signs, and those glossy plant tags don't tell the full story. So that's what we're doing today, saving you from those silent troublemakers. Whether you have curious pets, visiting grandchildren, or just want peace of mind, this list will help you make smarter, safer choices. Let's start with one of the most common offenders, a plant that's as deadly as it is beautiful. First on our list is a real heartbreaker, the oleander. It's one of those plants that makes you stop and stare. Glossy green leaves, clusters of pink or white flowers, and that effortless Mediterranean charm. You see it lining driveways, parks, and even sold as a hardy ornamental shrub at garden centers. But what most people don't know is, every single part of this plant is extremely toxic. Just one leaf, if accidentally ingested by a child or a pet, can cause severe poisoning. Even the sap can irritate your skin or eyes if you're not careful. It's one of those plants that looks too innocent for how dangerous it truly is. And here's the tricky part. Oleander is incredibly drought tolerant, so it's often promoted as a tough or low-maintenance plant, especially in warmer regions. But toughness doesn't mean safety. If you already have one growing, it's best to handle it with gloves. Keep it trimmed safely away from walkways, and never burn the trimmings. The smoke can be toxic too. Now, if you love that bold color and want something just as striking but completely safe, go for the bottle brush plant, also known as callistemon. It has the same sun-loving nature and those eye-catching red blooms that bees and hummingbirds adore, without any of the danger. A perfect reminder that beauty and safety can absolutely grow side by side. Plant 2, foxglove. Next up is one of the most enchanting flowers you'll ever see, the foxglove. Those tall spires filled with bell-shaped blossoms look like something out of a storybook garden. They sway gently in the breeze, draw in hummingbirds, and add that magical cottage feel every gardener loves. But here's what many people don't realize. Foxglove is also one of the most poisonous plants you can grow. Every part of this plant, the leaves, the flowers, even the seeds, contains compounds called digitalis glycoside. These are the same chemicals used to make heart medication, and while they can save lives in precise doses, a single nibble from a curious pet or child can cause serious heart problems. And it's not just ingestion. Even handling the leaves and then touching your face or mouth can lead to irritation. It's one of those plants that demands respect, or better yet, avoid. The sad thing is, foxglove looks so innocent that gardeners, especially those who love the old-fashioned cottage look, often plant it without knowing its dark side. But don't worry, if you adore that tall, spiky shape and those pastel shades, there's a safer, equally lovely choice. Snapdragons. They come in every color imaginable. They're cheerful, non-toxic, and they bring that same vertical charm to your borders or containers. So skip the foxglove drama and let the snapdragons steal the show. They'll reward you with months of happy blooms and peace of mind. Plant 3, daffodils. Now let's talk about a spring favorite, the daffodil. When those bright yellow blooms pop up after a long winter, they're like little rays of sunshine cheering up the garden. For many of us, daffodils mark the true beginning of spring, that hopeful moment when the soil wakes up and everything feels new again. But here's something most gardeners don't realize. Those cheerful bulbs hide a toxic secret. The daffodil plant, especially the bulb, contains a chemical called licorine. If accidentally ingested, even in small amounts, it can cause nausea, vomiting, and stomach upset. And it's not just pets at risk. Gardeners themselves sometimes get what's called daffodil itch, a rash or irritation from handling the bulbs without gloves. The sap can be quite harsh on sensitive skin. The trouble is, daffodil bulbs look a lot like onions when they're out of the ground, and it's surprisingly easy to mix them up if they're stored in the kitchen by mistake, something that's happened more than once to unsuspecting gardeners. Now, does that mean you have to say goodbye to spring color? Not at all. For a safer and equally stunning alternative, try tulips or crocuses. They bring that same burst of early color and joy to your garden, without the toxic risk. So the next time you're planting for spring, let your garden glow safely. Your pets and your hands will thank you for it. Plant 4. Lily. Ah, the lily. One of the most elegant and fragrant flowers you'll ever find. Those tall stems, those pure white or deep-colored blooms, that sweet scent drifting through the air. It's easy to see why lilies are a classic in so many gardens and bouquets. But what most people don't realize is that lilies are extremely toxic, especially to cats. And I mean dangerously so. Even just brushing against the pollen or drinking from a vase of lily water can cause kidney failure in cats, often within hours. It's heartbreaking because we see lilies everywhere, at Easter, at weddings, even in sympathy arrangements. And yet very few people know how deadly they can be to our furry companions. Dogs can get sick from them too, though cats are far more sensitive. I still remember a neighbor calling me in a panic after her cat got into a bouquet. One quick trip to the vet, and thankfully, they caught it early. But it was a scary lesson for both of us. So if you share your home with cats, it's best to admire lilies from afar, or in pictures. There are plenty of safe alternatives that give you the same beauty without the worry. My favorite substitute, the daylily hybrids. Hemerocallis. They're vibrant, hardy, and completely safe for pets. They come in every color you can imagine, and they bloom longer than most true lilies. So trade danger for delight. Grow daylilies instead. You'll still get that graceful look and summer charm with peace of mind blooming right beside it. Plant 5. Hydrangea. Now here's one that's a favorite in so many gardens. The hydrangea. Big, lush, full of charm. Those fluffy clusters of pinks, blues, and whites can turn any garden corner into something straight out of a magazine. I know so many gardeners who love them for their reliability. You plant one, and every summer, it rewards you with a show that lasts for weeks. But what most people don't know is that hydrangeas carry a hidden danger. The leaves and flower buds contain compounds called cyanogenic glycosides. If they're chewed or ingested by pets, livestock, or even curious little hands, they can cause stomach pain, nausea, and in larger amounts more serious poisoning. The good news is, most people and pets won't go around munching on hydrangeas, but the risk is still there, especially for homes with cats and dogs that love to nibble on leaves. Even dried hydrangea petals in floral arrangements can pose a problem if they're left within reach. It's a bit of a shame because they really are stunning plants, but beauty should never come at the cost of safety. So what's a good alternative? Try planting viburnum instead. Viburnums have the same rounded, showy clusters of blooms, often with a lovely fragrance, and they're completely non-toxic. Plus, many varieties offer beautiful berries and autumn color, so you get year-round interest without the worry. Think of it as trading in a high-maintenance friend for one that's kind, reliable, and just as lovely. Plant 6. Dieffenbachia. Our next plant might look innocent sitting in the corner of a living room, but it's one that's earned quite the reputation. The Dieffenbachia, also known as dumb cane. It's a popular indoor plant for good reason. It's easy to grow, thrives in low light, and those big patterned leaves add a tropical touch to any space. You'll find it in offices, lobbies, and homes everywhere. But despite its beauty, Dieffenbachia has a dark side. The plant's sap contains sharp needle-like crystals called calcium oxalate. If the leaves or stems are chewed by pets or even small children, those crystals can cause intense burning, swelling, and numbness of the mouth and throat. That's actually where the name dumb cane came from. The swelling can make it temporarily difficult to speak. Even for adults, simply pruning or repotting the plant without gloves can lead to skin irritation if the sap touches your hand. And if you accidentally rub your eyes afterward, well, that's a mistake you'll only make once. So while Dieffenbachia is easy to care for, it's just not worth the risk in a household with pets, grandkids, or sensitive skin. A wonderful and much safer alternative is the parlor palm, also known as Chamaedorea elegans. It's elegant, pet-safe, and thrives in the same indoor conditions. The parlor palm gives you that same lush greenery, without any of the worry, a true win for both beauty and safety. Sometimes the safest plants are also the most peaceful ones. Plant 7. Pothos. Devil's ivy. Next up is a plant that almost every indoor gardener has owned at some point. The pothos, also known as devil's ivy. And I get it. It's a hard one not to love. Those trailing vines, heart-shaped leaves, and its easygoing nature make it one of the most forgiving house plants around. You can neglect it for weeks, forget to water it, and it still rewards you with growth. That's why it's often called the perfect beginner's plant. But here's the catch. Pothos is mildly toxic to both humans and pets. The leaves contain calcium oxalate crystals, similar to Dieffenbachia. If chewed, they can cause mouth irritation, drooling, and swelling. It's not usually fatal, but it can be painful and distressing, especially for curious cats or dogs that love to nibble on foliage. I once had a viewer share that their cat got into a hanging pothos and ended up at the vet. Thankfully, the cat was fine, but it was a good reminder that easy care doesn't always mean carefree. So if you love that trailing, cascading look but want something worry-free, go for a spider plant. Chlorophytum comos. It's just as resilient, grows those lovely arching leaves, and even produces adorable baby offshoots that dangle down like green ribbons. Best of all, it's completely safe for pets. So trade the devil's ivy for the angelic spider plant. Same beauty, zero stress. Plant 8, rhododendron, and azalea. And finally, we come to a real showstopper, the rhododendron, and its close cousin, the azalea. These are the pride of many gardens, especially in spring. With their big trumpet-shaped blooms and glossy green leaves, they light up yards and walkways like a floral fireworks display. I've always admired their beauty, those pinks, purples, and whites that seem to glow after a spring rain. But here's the thing. Both rhododendrons and azaleas contain toxins known as grayanotoxins. Even a small amount of leaf or flower, if ingested, can cause drooling, vomiting, or worse in pets. And for livestock or wildlife, the effects can be much more serious. There's even a story from ancient Greece where soldiers became sick after eating honey made from rhododendron nectar. It was called mad honey. That's how potent this plant can be. It's a real shame, because they're such classics, and they grow so well in acidic soil. But if you want that same evergreen beauty, those glossy leaves and long-lasting blooms, there's a perfect, safer choice: camellia. Camellias have elegant rose-like flowers that appear in shades of red, pink, or white, and they're completely non-toxic. They stay green all year, bloom beautifully in cooler months, and make your garden feel timeless. So if you've ever wanted a gentler, safer alternative to rhododendrons, camellias are your answer. Same beauty, no hidden stain. Now before we wrap up, let's talk about something that can save you a lot of trouble in the long run. How to spot toxic plants before you buy them. You see, nurseries and garden centers are full of wonderful plants, but they don't always come with warning labels. You could be walking past rows of beautiful blooms, not realizing that some of them can be harmful to pets, wildlife, or even you. So here are a few simple things I've learned to do before bringing any new plant home. First, always take a moment to read the tag carefully, not just the light and watering instructions, but the fine print. Some plant tags quietly mention toxicity or safety around pets. If it doesn't say, don't be shy to ask. A good nursery staff member will know or help you find out. Second, make it a habit to look it up online right there in the store. Just type the plant's name, followed by the words toxic to pets. It only takes a few seconds, and it's worth it. Third, be mindful of how you garden at home. If you have pets or visiting grandchildren, keep plants with potential toxins well out of reach. Or better yet, choose safe alternatives from the start. And finally, don't assume that just because something is sold in a nursery, it's completely safe. Nurseries sell plants for all kinds of gardens, including decorative or restricted spaces. So the responsibility often falls on us gardeners to choose wisely. With a little awareness and research, you can fill your garden with plants that are just as beautiful, but far safer for everyone who shares your space, furry or otherwise. I know some of them caught me off guard when I first learned just how toxic they could be. It's amazing how many beautiful plants can also be a little bit dangerous when we look beneath the surface. If you've ever had to remove a plant after finding out it wasn't safe, or if you have your own favorite safe alternatives, I'd love to hear your story down in the comments. Sharing your experiences helps other gardeners too, and that's what this community is all about. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, share it with a fellow gardener, and don't forget to subscribe for more practical, heartwarming gardening tips right here on Senior Green Thumb. Remember, gardening isn't just about what looks good, it's about creating a space that feels good too, a place that's full of life, color, and peace of mind. So until next time, stay safe, stay inspired, and keep those thumbs green. Happy gardening, everyone.